supporting Corked, with only the help of a couple friends, wasn't going to keep her grandmother's favorite table from vanishing off the sidewalk. And it needed to stay there. Far too many pieces of her grandmother seemed to float away into the wind lately. But not that table. Not the place Hallie had gone with Rebecca every single Sunday evening since high school and learned the art of gardening. It had to stay. So, all right, time to play offense. Very carefully, Hallie folded up the funnies and tucked them beneath her arm. She scanned the sidewalk for any friends or clients, then walked briskly across the street toward Uncorked. They'd added 2 potted ficuses on either side of their door, beautifully pruned into the shape of an ice cream cone, but there would be no brownie points awarded to the Uncorked crew for proper plant maintenance, not even for lush, well-loved greenery. And if Hallie Welch, proprietor of Becca's Blooms and St. Helena's premier gardener, didn't warm up to someone for diligent care of a plant, that's when they'd really pissed her off. Besides, the plants weren't her current focus. She paused outside of Uncorked and eyed the disco ball, shifting in her rubber slip-ons. "Here comes trouble," said her grandmother's voice, drifting in somewhere from the great beyond. How many times had Rebecca taken a look at Hallie and said those words? Hundreds. Thousands. Now, in the reflective window of Uncorked, she could see how her grandmother might make that prediction based on her facial activity. 2 round spots of color on her cheeks, a firm set to her chin. Expression diabolical? Let's go with driven. Mrs. Cross, owner of the coffee shop across the street, walked out of Uncorked with a bottle of some celebrity's wine in hand and a paper bib around her neck that read, "Sip Sip Hooray," on the front. She skidded to a stop and bowed her head guiltily upon spotting Hallie. "I don't know what happened," started Mrs. Cross, quickly tearing off the bib. "I let them add me to their text alerts just to be polite, and this morning I woke up to a message about wine glass rims dipped in chocolate, and my feet just sort of brought me here for the 3 o'clock session." "How was the wine?" Hallie asked, feeling winded. Another one bites the dust. "Robust? With a betrayal aftertaste, I'm guessing?" Mrs. Cross winced and had the nerve to lick some chocolate from the corner of her mouth. "Sorry, hun." She slunk past Hallie and into the crosswalk, clutching her bottle of duplicity. "Have to run. I'm working the evening shift." Hallie swallowed and turned back to the disco ball, the glaring light forcing her to squint. After a too short second of debate, she retrieved a piece of bark that had been used to pot the nearest ficus and reached up, jamming it into the top motor of the disco ball, halting the eyesore's next revolution. Then she bolted. Okay, maybe bolted was an exaggeration. She jogged. And she quickly realized she was not dressed for fleeing the scene of her first act of vandalism. Rubber shoes were for plodding around in soil and grass, not for potentially being chased by the 5-0. Her colorful woven crossbody purse slapped against her hip with every step, her array of mismatched necklaces bouncing up and down in solidarity with her boobs. She had a teal scrunchie in her pocket, which she'd planned to use later to fashion a blonde knot on top of her head while working. Should she stop and put her hair up now to make running easier? Curls were flying into her face, fast and furious, her gardening shoes making an embarrassing squawk with every step. Crime clearly didn't pay. When a familiar face stepped into her path on the sidewalk, Hallie almost collapsed with relief. "Without asking me any follow-up questions, can I hide in your kitchen?" "Fuck's sake, what have you done now?" asked her friend Lavinia, donut artist and British transplant. She was just about to light a cigarette, a sight that wasn't all that common on Grapevine Way in St. Helena, but lowered the lighter to her thigh when she saw Hallie rushing toward her in a flurry of necklaces, curls, and frayed jean shorts.